They just don't get it. Maven is the Maven is Maven, Maven. They just don't get it. They just don't get it.
Good morning.
And what a good morning it is, Mrs. Maven.
Notice what's on the table?
Lunch boxes. That is right. Finally, they are sending our kids to school in the snow. Hey, it's a 2-hour delay, but that's fine. Finally, they're not kowtowing to the kids, right? They're making them trudge through a little bit of snow. They're not treating them like porcelain dolls or hothouse flowers. It's great.
You know, when you're not the business person, Maven, you're a fireman and a professor, which is a glorified teacher.
Yeah?
Right? Weren't you just jumping up and down with joy because your school's closed today?
That's way different.
How?
Professorial privilege. I'm not at liberty to tell you. Anyhow, let's change the subject and quickly on to Netflix because they reported their earnings yesterday and their earnings were great, but the coverage was terrible. They missed 3 big things, did the media. The first thing, personified in a New York Times headline, Netflix beats expectations with a rush of subscribers. Yes, they beat expectations, at least on the bottom line, we'll get to that, with a rush of subscribers. But the key thing, not mentioned in that headline or in the body of the Times article, is that subscriber acquisition costs went down. That's the key. You can gather bushels of subscribers and it doesn't matter unless that subscriber acquisition cost is under control.
I don't get it. If I pay for Netflix, how does it cost them something for me to pay them?
Oh, that's a good question, Ms. Maven, but you have tons of things like marketing. It costs you to gather subscribers. We saw that with Sirius. In any subscriber-based business, when their subscriber acquisition costs are ballooning, the stock is tanking. The only time that the stock can start coming back, as it has more recently, is when you get the subscriber acquisition costs under control. Michael Corleone once said, if history has taught us anything, it is that for a subscriber-based business, acquisition costs are key.
Michael Corleone said that?
He said the first part of that. I made up the second part. But look, the Wall Street Journal, in one article they mentioned subscriber acquisition costs, in another article they didn't. The New York Times didn't in that article, and the AP didn't. Many others just didn't. That's no good. The other item is that Netflix fell slightly short of expectations on the top line. Now, this was lost in a lot of the excitement trumpeting the earnings and the subscriber growth. But we have to keep an eye on that just long term. The Wall Street Journal AP mentioned that. The Times not only didn't mention it, but in its headline, it says Netflix beats expectations. Well, no, they beat, nay, they crushed bottom line expectations.
Yeah.
But they actually fell short on the top line. So just keep an eye on it long term. The number 3 thing, or C, am I going letters or numbers here, Miss Maven?
Numbers.
Numbers?
Yeah.
Number C. Anyhow, it's the movement of the price of stock after the earnings came out. It went way up, and much of it was deserved. But the situation was heightened. It was accentuated by the fact that Netflix has an enormous short position, right? 10 million shares about, with over 50 million shares outstanding. So about 20% of the float is short, which means that when earnings come out and they're really good, the stock will go up even more because of the short position, but that won't hold as much as a stock that's gone up just on earnings alone without a big short position. So it's just worth mentioning, worth factoring in. Any questions here, Mrs. Maven? I don't think I saw anyone mention that.
No questions.
No? Okay, so let's send the kids off to school and send you off to work, and I'll enjoy the rest of my day. Anyhow, viewers, if you disagree with me, you won't, but if you do, feel free to email me at mark@fusagestreet.com. And remember, when it comes to Netflix, they just don't get it.